So looking around Haverfordwest and seeing all the art on the different buildings and hearing people's reaction to it, what made you first think of this project?
That's a very good question. I think that the idea for this project was born over in Denmark actually, so it's come from across seas. I was volunteering with a theatre company over there, making sets for plays and things like that, and also involved in various other sort of arty projects. What I learned from there was really inspirational because we were working really long hours, 14-hour days, like on the trot and stuff like that.
One after the other?
Yeah, one after the other, it just kind of kept on coming. There's this guy, one person in particular who really inspired me. His name was Rene, and he had this real kind of like, just do it sort of attitude to life. And I kind of really picked up on that in the time that I was over there. I came back just before Christmas last year, and I just looked at Haverfordwest, and it's the winter and there's nothing going on. It looked really grey and boring, and I just thought, we need something a bit like what we had in Denmark over
bring it to life,
to bring it over here. And they weren't putting up paintings in the streets and stuff like that. It was more just the kind of mentality of it, trying to make things better as a community, and using the arts and theatre and other things like that as a tool to do that. So I came back to Haverfordwest and I just looked around the place and thought, we need some artwork on the walls, we need some colour, we just get people smiling, give people a reason to come here. So I just started the project almost straight away after I got back, and just kind of kept the ball rolling ever since, really.
Did you find it hard to get other people involved in it initially?
Not especially. I went to the Ideas Lab, which is hosted by Confluence in the old Ocky White building, and what they are trying to do is help similar projects, kind of small startup people come in with ideas, and then they try and help you facilitate how it's going to happen, and potentially give you a little bit of funding as well to help you to get the ball rolling. Yeah, two people in particular I met, Rich Blackwell-Jones and Jessica Folker. Obviously had lots of other people also interested in showing artwork and things like that, but I also had people interested in potentially giving me a hand to organise it as well. So not especially, I think the idea was fairly solid, and other people had been kind of thinking about doing similar things, and then
but it needed someone with that idea of putting energy in quickly and pointedly.
It's that kind of like, just get on with it, just stop talking about it, just do it sort of attitude that I picked up in Denmark and brought back here, that I think gave it the kind of the flame, as you were, for it to actually kind of materialise and become something.
What have you found the most difficult things about getting it off the ground?
I mean, obviously this is in its second year now, so the biggest problems I had last year were liaising with Pembrokeshire County Council to get permission for various different spaces to hang paintings, planning permission as well. Basically kind of ticking all the boxes that everyone else wanted me to tick, which a lot of the time is just a bit of a waste of time and kind of restricts the project in lots of ways. There's also things like, I was encouraged to use recycled timber to all the framing and things like that, which initially sounds like quite a nice idea because it's helping the environment and you're saving a bit of money on materials, but in reality, it just means an extra, 3 weeks worth of work getting all the timber ready and stuff like that, for the sake of saving 50 quid buying some timber from you. So I've learned a lot of lessons.
Have you found it difficult to fund, or have you found that people have come in behind you for this second year and offered a little bit more assistance in that way?
We've had the same amount of funding both years. But what was really good is that the project kind of can essentially, at a bare minimum, this is taking out any wages for anyone and scraping by, can almost sustain itself from selling all the artwork at the end.
Yes.
And fingers crossed, we sell a good amount of artwork this year, because we've spent quite a lot more money than we did last year, because obviously we've got much bigger paintings. But we host like a kind of exhibition closing party. At the end this year, it's on the 15th of September, where the paintings will be kind of sold in a silent auction format, so people can come and write bids beneath the paintings essentially, and then at the end of the night, we kind of call out the winners and people collect the paintings.
Is that open to the general public?
Yeah, I mean, anyone from anywhere can place bids on the paintings, and we give 60% stays with the artist who completed the work, and then we just take a 40% commission, which is fairly standard amongst galleries, to help pay towards the project.
And then you hope that will not only maybe fund all the materials for the boards, which are quite big, aren't they, and the framing and the varnishing, but also maybe give you a sort of pillow for next year.
Yeah, last year we were lucky enough to be able to raise about £1,000 to go towards this year's project, which was a real kind of boost. So with that, you know, and we had the £500 Ideas Lab funding as well. That brought our grand sort of total budget up to £1,500. So far, I've spent about £2,000 this year. So a certain amount of money does come out of my own pocket to fund it, and I obviously kind of pay myself back that money at the end. Yeah,
and you will do what? You will bring everything into here, where we're sitting at the moment, as an exhibition at the end for the closing party.
Yeah, so all the artwork will be displayed on the streets of Haverfordwest until the 3rd of September, and then we've got like kind of 2 days to take down and set up the next exhibition sort of time. So on the 5th of September, we'll be in here, number 8 Spring Gardens, Haverfordwest. We're going to somehow fit all the artwork into this space. We've got this big room here. It's also the same size room downstairs and the hallway areas as well. So we're really lucky to be able to use this space to display the work. So it'll be on display here from the 5th until the 15th. So you'll have 10 days and people can come around, meet me or you know, various other artists involved in the exhibition and find out a bit more about what we do, and just have a chance to see all the paintings in the same place. So you know, you can get a proper comparison and see them in an indoor gallery setting as well as the street.
Are you finding that as you go along, more and more artists are willing to participate?
Yeah, definitely. We've got about 7 or 8 new artists, well, extra artists this year. So we managed to keep about half of the artists that we had last year, and then expand on that as well and bring in lots of new artists. So I think, yeah, the project's going to kind of expand as more people know about it, more artists want to get involved, because obviously it's a really good chance to get a bit of publicity.
And breathes different life into it all the time, doesn't it, of course?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, you know, I wouldn't want all the same artists every single year. It's good, you know, we keep some of them, get new artists as well. So yeah, it really shows a kind of diverse mix of work, and I really like that part of the project.
What's your own background, Arthur? You went to art college, or?
Yeah, I'm an art school dropout actually.
Like all good people.
Yeah, I did a foundation year in Pembroke College, and then I went off to do the sculpture course over in Carmarthenshire College. I did that for a year, and then I don't like being too tied down, so I wanted to go off travelling and explore the world, and I'm really glad I did, because I learned a lot from that as well.
Well, it feels like you've got more from being over in Denmark and doing that than from a college course.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't learn many skills as such in Denmark, but it was, sometimes you meet really inspirational people, and you can kind of pick up on their energy. It was more that. I obviously haven't been to university, so I don't know if, it could have turned out a lot. I could be doing the same thing if I went to university and finished my degree. And
not necessarily. As you say, if you meet inspirational people, those are the ones that give you the energy, or open up your own energy in order to go forward. Because it does feel like you're the one driving all of this. Yeah,
I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, I'm definitely the kind of main project organiser, but I do, there are people who give me a hand, here and there, and take care of like certain aspects of the project.
Have you found it satisfying?
Yeah, definitely. Really satisfying, getting all this really good responses from people around the town and on the internet. It really makes it all kind of worthwhile. And I kind of walk around Haverfordwest, see these pictures, and I get this real sort of sense of pride that I've been a part of setting it up.
You mentioned during our conversation that you have to get planning permission. Is that for every single work of art that you put on the wall?
No, I was told that I had to get planning permission, so I had this big kind of stress out, like, oh my god, you know, £80 per application over like 30 paintings, and I don't even know where they're going to go or what they're going to look like yet. So I had a few meetings with the people in planning. It turned out actually because they were just temporary, I didn't actually need planning permission for them, so that was a huge relief. But I went through quite a lot to get that answer.
The thought of filling in all those forms.
Yeah, exactly. 30 odd forms for, you know, different locations, owned by all different people. I mean, it's hard enough getting just the thumbs up from whoever owns the wall to say, yeah, you can put a painting on there.
I was going to ask you actually, how do you get the people to say, yes, you can put a painting on my wall?
I think most of the people who live in or have businesses in Haverford see a real need for what we're doing. Yeah. So obviously, you know, you've got to get past the initial, you're knocking on someone's door asking them for something, you know, you do get a few disgruntled people, like, oh, what do you want, sort of thing. You know, I just kind of explain that I'm with a community arts organisation and we're trying to brighten up the town, and then people really start listening because they think, yeah, that's what the town needs. So generally I have a pretty good response, especially with the local people, you know, people's houses. That's probably the easiest place to get permission.
Oh, is it?
Followed by local businesses. Yeah. And then what's really difficult is, you know, if I'm trying to get permission to put a painting on the side of a commercial building, because then obviously you've got to ring up head office in London somewhere and they don't even know what wall you're talking about or anything like that.
Do you find that they will let you do it in subsequent years, or have you had to start with all new buildings this year? I would have been able to use lots of the same locations that I used last year, but I chose to bring the project kind of out into the open a little bit more. I mean, last year the kind of focus was to brighten up the areas which needed brightening up the most. Yeah. And then this year I've kind of changed tack a little bit, and it's just trying to get like maximum exposure and really kind of try and help people think of Haverford as like a bit more vibrant, a bit of a cooler place, try and help with the town regeneration a little bit more. So I've gone for spots this year which are kind of dotted along the one-way system, so obviously you get a lot of people who aren't actually coming to Haverford but end up having to drive through our streets to go to other places. So on their drive through, hopefully they'll see a few paintings, and that will in the back of their mind be slowly changing what they think of the town. Haverford West will be a place to come to. Yeah, I mean, I'm struck too when I go around and have a look at them all, how carefully the positions have been chosen, because many of the backgrounds of the buildings, the colours are reflected in the paintings themselves, or the paintings reflect a nearby building. Was it you that correlated all of that, or is that a sort of team effort? No, I mean, I kind of get the final say in where they all go, and it's a very kind of spontaneous process as well, because I've got a very short amount of time between picking up the paintings and framing them, and then, you know, putting them on the wall. It's only like a day or two. Have you had a lot of family support with this, because it would otherwise be quite isolating, I think? I've been very lucky to have a very supportive family, and obviously with my mum and dad owning this place, that puts me in a real good you know, in a really good position, because I've got an area where I can display a base where I can display work at the end of the exhibition, and also a good kind of inside workshop area that I can use for all the framing and prepping of the boards and things like that. I'm also lucky enough to be insured with my dad's van as well, which is really useful in picking up and delivering the paintings, and obviously having the support of my parents who are in the building trade, you know, access to tools and, you know, helping to put them on the walls and stuff like that. Have been massively helpful in that respect. Do they enjoy the project? I like to think so, yeah. I think they can definitely see the positive impact that it's having on the town. And your aunt's an artist, isn't she? So she's probably really encouraging too. Yeah, my aunt Penelope Timmis, she's very supportive of the project, and I'm very tempted to open it up next year so people from outside of Pembrokeshire can have a go, because it'd be really great to have a few of her paintings on the walls around town. Maybe you could have a guest person and she could be it next year. Yeah, that could work really well actually. When I look at it, I can see that maybe this is just almost a beginning for you, that it's gaining energy, and I wonder if you see where it will go from here, or if it's possible to translate it to other places?
I'd really like to see the project grow and fully kind of blossom and complete its objectives within the town to make it a brighter, better place. I think, you know, it's very difficult finding a balance between working and actually earning money and putting on projects like this. And I tend to probably sway a little bit towards the get really excited by projects side of things, which is probably a bit of a problem. You know, I'm kind of hoping that you know, all these little projects that I'm involved with, you know, they will kind of all grow and evolve. You know, eventually I'll be able to earn a living out of that as well.
It is difficult for an artist, isn't it, or someone involved in the art world, to maintain that stability between being totally involved in a project and having that excitement, but also needing to earn enough money to eat and to have a roof over your head.
Yeah, it's a difficult. I mean, during breaking out the gallery time, I tend to just cut into my savings quite a lot because I haven't got time to have a job really at the same time. Obviously, I do a little bit here and there to get a little bit of cash, but yeah, it is a very difficult balance.
The artists that are involved obviously believe in what you're doing and feel that it's going to work. And I can see that it is working, hearing people talking about the works in the streets. What would you like to say to those artists in terms of encouraging them to believe that art in Pembrokeshire is on the up?
I think that the artists that are already involved can you know, see it for themselves, and I definitely get a real sense that artists being involved in this project kind of, you know, gives them a lot of motivation to create more work, and it also, you know, it's a huge amount of publicity for an artist to have their work displayed all summer on the wall. And we obviously, you know, we're writing like a book at the moment that's going to come out about the project, and that's going to have all the artists' information in it. We also post lots of stuff on the internet. You know, we really do our best to promote each artist who's involved and spread the work out as much as possible.
That every day you're posting a different artist on Facebook. It's a lot of work for you, isn't it, to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing them most days. I mean, obviously sometimes I'll be at the beach or I'll be at a meeting or something like that and I can't do it, but yeah, it's fairly consistent, and that's really nice actually, as a way of kind of getting a gauge, you know, getting reactions to the different paintings. I'll share those around, you know, 10 or 15 different art groups over Facebook. You know, you get people from all over the world seeing them and enjoying the artwork, and